Somewhere beneath the ground right now, a door is sealed shut. Behind it, there is food for years. There is air scrubbed clean by machines. There is a person waiting for a world that may never come. You have seen the pictures: concrete tunnels, steel hatches, shelves stacked with cans. But almost none of what you have seen is the real story. The real story is not about concrete. It is about what happens to a human mind when it is placed inside a box and told to survive. Start with the door. Once it closes, something changes immediately. Not the air, not the temperature, the sense of time. Above ground, your brain tracks day and night without you noticing. Sunlight rises and falls. Shadows move. Your body clock resets itself every 24 hours almost automatically. Take that away, and something strange happens. Hours blur, days stretch. Some people inside long-term shelters report losing track of whether it is morning or evening within the first week. Why does this happen so fast? Psychologist Peter Sudfeld spent decades studying what he called extreme and unusual environments. Not war zones, not disasters, just isolation itself. Space stations, Antarctic research posts, submarines. He found that the human brain does not handle confinement the way people expect. It does not simply get bored, it restructures itself. Some people become sharper, more focused, almost meditative. Others spiral. The difference often has nothing to do with intelligence or training. It has to do with a much older survival mechanism. Here is the part most people never think about. For almost the entire span of human existence, isolation meant danger. If you were separated from your group, you were vulnerable. No help, no warning system, no one to watch your back while you slept. Your nervous system evolved around the assumption that being alone was a threat to be resolved, not a lifestyle to be maintained. So when a bunker door closes and a person is expected to stay calm for months, they are fighting biology that was never built for stillness. This is not weakness. This is the operating system doing exactly what it was designed to do. The most famous test of this was not military, it was scientific. In 1991, 8 people sealed themselves inside a sprawling glass structure in the Arizona desert called Biosphere 2. It was not built for war, it was built to test whether humans could survive completely cut off from the outside world, growing their own food, breathing recycled air for 2 full years. What researchers discovered surprised almost everyone involved. The oxygen levels dropped unexpectedly. Crops failed in ways no one predicted. And the 8 people inside split into 2 rival factions who reportedly stopped speaking to each other for months. The environment was engineered perfectly. The humans were not. This pattern repeats everywhere isolation has been studied. Organizational psychologist Jack Stuster spent years analyzing diaries and mission logs from people stationed in Antarctica, submarines, and even early astronauts, work that NASA itself commissioned to prepare for long-duration space missions. He found the same phases again and again. First comes a burst of energy and purpose, then a slow decline. Irritability. Small conflicts that would normally be ignored suddenly feel enormous. And then if the group survives that middle stretch, something unexpected. A kind of adaptation. People stop noticing the walls. Do you think you would notice the walls, or would your mind eventually stop seeing them too? Polar researcher Lawrence Palinkas studied this same phenomenon among scientists stationed at Antarctic outposts through the long winter darkness, when the sun does not rise for months at a time. He documented something he called the third quarter phenomenon. Not the beginning of isolation when everyone is fine, not the end when the return is in sight. The middle. That is when morale collapses hardest. Around the same point, roughly 60 to 70% of the way through, whether the isolation lasts 4 months or 4 years. The body and mind seem to track duration instinctively, even without a calendar. Now go back further. Before any of this science existed, the instinct to prepare a shelter was already ancient. Caves were the first bunkers, a hidden space, defensible, dry, dark enough to disappear into if danger passed nearby. Anthropologists studying early hominid sites have found that the safest, most defensible caves were often reused for tens of thousands of years, passed down not through instruction, but through instinct. Long before written history, humans already understood a simple truth. When the world outside becomes unpredictable, the answer is to go under it. The Cold War simply modernized that instinct with concrete and steel. Strategist Herman Kahn, working at the Rand Corporation in the 1950s, became one of the most influential voices arguing that nuclear war, however catastrophic, could be survived with the right preparation. His work shaped decades of civil defense policy. Entire nations built bunkers not because leaders expected to enjoy the aftermath, but because the alternative, doing nothing, felt unbearable. The bunker was never really about the disaster. It was about having an answer to a feeling that would otherwise consume you. Helplessness. That feeling has not gone away. If anything, modern life has quietly recreated its own version of the bunker instinct. Consider how many people now stockpile supplies not for nuclear war, but for job loss, for supply chain collapse, for the next unpredictable headline. Consider how many apartments now include a small emergency kit tucked into a closet, untouched for years just in case. The bunker has shrunk. It no longer needs concrete walls. Sometimes it is a backpack. Sometimes it is a spreadsheet of savings labeled for emergencies only. The impulse driving it is exactly the same one that pushed early humans deeper into caves. There is a reason this instinct never fades, no matter how safe modern life becomes. Psychologist Sheldon Cohen, known for decades of research connecting stress and health, found that the feeling of control, or the lack of it, has a measurable effect on the body. People who feel they have no way to prepare for uncertainty show higher stress hormone levels than people who feel even slightly ready, regardless of whether the danger is real or distant. The bunker in every era has served the same psychological function: not protection from the world ending, protection from the unbearable feeling of not being ready if it did. So what actually happens inside a bunker built for the end of the world? Not what movies show, not chaos, not panic, not immediate danger. What happens is slower and stranger. Time distorts. Small irritations become massive. Somewhere around the middle stretch, morale quietly collapses before it rebuilds. And underneath all of it, an ancient nervous system built for open plains and shared campfires tries to make sense of a sealed door it was never designed to face. Maybe that is the real reason bunkers fascinate you, even if you will never build one. Somewhere beneath the ground right now, a door is sealed shut. And somewhere inside you, that same door has already been imagined 1,000 times. Not because the world is ending, but because some ancient part of you has never stopped preparing for the day it might.